All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katie Bowerman, and I'm a Senior Program Manager for the Manufacturing Institute, and I oversee the virtual Heroes Make America Military Skill Bridge Training Program. So welcome to today's Heroes Connect Military Manufacturing presentation. Today, we're featuring one of our sponsor companies, Caterpillar. I know you know this company. We have all seen the iconic yellow construction machinery on the side of the highway, but what goes into making that equipment and all the other products that they make? Today, you'll hear from Caterpillar representatives and learn more about the team the team of people needed to make this company run so smoothly. So before I introduce our first speaker and get to know more about this amazing, massive company, I briefly want to cover some general guidelines and housekeeping items, right, to make sure that we're good to go for this event. So first of all, the event is being recorded and will be emailed out as part of an event recap after the event. You should have automatically been muted upon entry, but please be sure you keep your microphones muted to make sure that we minimize any background noise throughout the presentation. Lastly, I encourage you all to be active participants. Utilize that chat feature during the presentation, drop in the questions that you have, and we'll circle back to the questions during the Q&A portion after the presentation. At that time, we'll also utilize the raise hand feature. So if you want to come on live and ask your question, if not, just feel free to drop it into the chat box. But overall, events like this are your opportunity to join the discussion and ask questions of these industry leaders that you may not normally have access to. So to get us started on the participation piece, if you can locate the chat box, whether you're on your phone or on your desktop, locate the chat box. For those of you who are actively job searching, please drop in what city, state, or region that you're looking for. And then also, what kinds of jobs are you interested in, right? So drop in your location, types of jobs you're interested in. If you're not actively searching, that's okay. Just drop in where you're joining us from today. So just drop in your current location. All right, so while you're all doing that, I want to briefly take a moment to highlight our Heroes Make America Military Skill Bridge program. We have many of our current students on this call today, but we also have other military affiliated participants and community partners from across the country joining us today. For those of you who may not know what Heroes Make America is, we are a DoD approved skill bridge program for transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses. We provide a variety of certification trainings, as you see here, that go towards the manufacturing and supply chain industries. Our students learn a variety of topics to include safety, quality practices, various technical trainings, and also logistics trainings, just depending on the location where they're training with. So you can see here our program managers, the certifications we offer, and upcoming class dates. We will also drop our program managers' LinkedIn profiles into the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and connect with us. But without further ado, let's move on to the main feature. I want to first introduce Courtney Rothwell, Services Growth Human Resources Manager for Caterpillar. So Courtney, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Katie. Hey everyone, we're so grateful for the opportunity to share with you a bit about Caterpillar, our history, and what a career at our company might look like for you as you approach transition. I see some familiar names that I've connected with on LinkedIn recently, so excited to have you all join today. My name's Courtney Rothwell, as Katie said, and I have the privilege of serving on our global leadership team for the Caterpillar Armed Forces Support Network. And I come from a family of veterans who've served in the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, and have a great respect for military service and the families and communities that support our veterans. At Caterpillar, we recognize the value that our veteran population brings to a wide array of positions within our company. As we progress through the material, our hope is that that vision becomes clear for you also. Let's get started with a video to introduce you to Caterpillar. It is so exciting to be a part of this team and the team that brings solutions to help our customers build a better world. With 2021 sales and revenues of $51 billion, Caterpillar Inc. is the world's leading manufacturer of construction and mining equipment, off-highway diesel and natural gas engines, industrial gas turbines, and diesel-electric locomotives. For nearly 100 years, we've been helping customers build a better, more sustainable world, and we're committed and contributing to a reduced carbon future. Our innovative products and services backed by our global dealer network provide exceptional value that helps customers succeed. If we move to the next slide, I'll talk about our industries and the segments that we serve. Our business is structured under 5 segments. Our construction industry segment focuses on support of infrastructure and building construction applications. Those are those things that you see most readily on the sides of the road and in construction applications. Resource industry supports customers in mining and quarrying applications. We have energy and transportation, which covers our oil and gas, power generation, marine, rail, and industrial applications. Services, distribution, and digital, which focuses on aftermarket parts, service support, and e-business and equipment management solutions. And then finally, our financial products and corporate services, which provides financing to our customers and dealers for the purchase and lease of CAT equipment, as well as our core corporate functions such as business resources, IT, and accounting. You now have an understanding of the makeup of our business portfolio, but let me share a little bit about our people. When I think about what it is that attracted me to Caterpillar and what's kept me excited about my Caterpillar career for more than 17 years, I can emphatically say it's the people I get to work with, the camaraderie that exists, and the values that the Caterpillar team as a whole bring every day. At Caterpillar, we don't just talk about our values, we live them. These values are at the foundation of everything we do. And I can honestly say that these 5 words are more than just words on a screen. Our employees exemplify them in how we interact with one another and how we conduct business across the globe. The values that you've embraced throughout your military service align nicely with ours. I think you would find a natural fit in our culture from a value standpoint. So for the second half of this delivery, I'd like to introduce our global chair of the Caterpillar Armed Forces Support Network, Ernie Reyes. Ernie will take you through a bit more about our company, our ties to military history, and share a few success stories along with his own to help you think through what it might look like to join our team. Ernie?
Well, thank you, Courtney, and thank you everyone here for letting us host this opportunity to introduce not only just Caterpillar, but really just what a transition to the corporate world will look like for you. And definitely wishing everybody here good luck on the training session here with Heroes Make America, but also as you prepare your transition, definitely want to be a partner in supporting you through that process. So with that being said, the overall Caterpillar experience has been a great one. Caterpillar is one of those companies that really focuses on continuously improving their standards, not only within the corporation, the branding, and our products as well, but it's really about our customers and our people, to include a very focused effort on building an environment and a workplace that supports diversity and inclusion to create better solutions. So what you're going to see here is the last rankings of 2021. Caterpillar is regularly recognized for all of our employees' innovations, leadership, and workplace satisfaction. There's a lot of action items here that support and welcome veterans that are transitioning into the workplace. Next slide, please. So we talked a little bit about diversity and inclusion. And our CEO, Jim Bumblebee, has made a personal statement here when it comes to the workforce and the value of diversity and inclusion. I mean, overall, Caterpillar, we are committed to continually working on and to ensure our workplace is diverse and representative of the many customers we serve around the globe, and that each person is respected, seen, heard, and valued, right? Just like the military. When we talk about working in a diverse environment, we definitely have to lean across each other and make sure that we as a team are successful in winning the right way. And that's something you will see here in Caterpillar. Additionally, we know the different perspectives help us do our best work. We achieve the great outcomes and make positive changes in the communities where we live and work. Next slide. So the other part of this journey for Caterpillar is the longstanding commitment to sustainability. It is one of our 5 values that Courtney just went through, and it's really a strategic area of focus for Caterpillar. It is part of who we are and what we do. I mean, we have a legacy of providing products and services that continually improve the quality of life and the environment by fulfilling society's needs. Infrastructure, right? When you talk about shelter, clean water, transportation, reliable energy, all of these things require infrastructure, and we want to do it in a sustainable way. We're committed to reducing the greenhouse gas emissions while helping our customers meet their climate-related objectives. Right? We're continuing to support our customers during energy transitions to a lower carbon future, right? Through investment in new products, technology, and services. One of the areas where I'm very proud of for Caterpillar and working for a company like this is that Caterpillar has been there for our military members ever back since World War I. If you look at our history in this space, we've provided support equipment, power solutions to our service members across the globe, supporting them in missions, helping humanitarian efforts, and really driving national security across the globe for over 100 years. If you look at even throughout modern times, we're still out there supporting. You'll still see our machines out there supporting our troops, making sure that we can bring our troops back home safe. This is an area we continue to support, supporting missions through global military environments, serving all branches of the U.S. military, and additionally, not only the military side, but the U.S. federal government and other allied governments. So what does a career look like when you're coming to Caterpillar? It has many views. I mean, when you start looking at our workforce and our footprint and where Caterpillar employs its people, it's globally, and we have jobs from multiple work streams. And we're going to talk about that, a few of those here coming forward, but I really wanted to take a time to just kind of highlight a few of what it looks like. Lacey, Cat employee here, joined us a few years back. She's a supply chain personnel, but her background, she's still serving with the National Guard, right? So we're still very supportive of our people that are still serving today and having that dual workforce and experience. The other aspect of this is that through her Air National Guard support, she has been contributing not only what she's learned from the Caterpillar perspective back to the military, but she's also had the opportunity to bring some of the discipline and rigorous training that we've had from our military experience and bring it actively to the Caterpillar and help support her own team into doing better and doing better performance. Another example here for a military spouse, Amy has joined us as well. Her husband is currently deployed, but this is a great exposure to how we take care of our military spouses. One of the areas that we wanted to make sure is because of the sensitivity of where she's at and how she's supporting her family and how she's supporting us in Caterpillar, we find ways to try to ensure that we take care of our employees so they can maximize production and results within Caterpillar. So she has had a great experience with us in being more remote and flexible when it comes to supporting her family through this period. And Ryan's another example. Ryan retired from the Navy, has joined the operations team and a remanufacturing facility. And really, Ryan's background fits really nicely with the operational world because it is all about understanding the problem, driving a solution, and getting it done. This is one area where he's been exceeding for the past few years as well here in Caterpillar. So overall, a little bit about myself, my background, just to share my own personal story. Mine's a very unique story. I actually started out in the Marine Corps as a combat engineer working with Caterpillar equipment. So all these construction equipments you see here, as part of my mission with construction, demolition and breaching operations. I actually worked, my background from the Marine Corps is I started out enlisted through the combat engineer, worked my way up as an officer, came back into the Marine Corps through a joint command with the Navy, and got a great opportunity to really try a different work experience, which was through the nuclear power program there, serving in submarines. I actually worked my way through the submarine program and became the chief engineer of the West Virginia, getting her through a full refurbishment out of Norfolk, and then bringing her back on mission to Kings Bay. So great experience for a Marine to go from one side to the other. And the reason why I share that story is because that same story and opportunity that I experienced in the military, you can experience that in Caterpillar. It's a big enough company that provides enough opportunities for you to explore what you want to do and seek those opportunities that you really feel and then have desire and passion to go after. As you can see with my civilian experience, I did start out with Polaris Industry as a defense program manager, supporting our troops, and joined Caterpillar recently after that, serving in several roles here with strategy, energy and commodity management, there's some procurement, strategy, and operations. So overall, if I had to take a time here and just provide you guys a bit of advice as you're starting to prepare and get ready for the transition, is key points. Preparation is the key. Just like in the military, right? We all talk about it. Before you set yourself on the next mission, you have to prepare, right? So start now, set a vision for yourself and identify what it takes to get you there. Second step would be the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. You know where you want to be. So start operationalizing your next stage in life. This is the time to start understanding those key items that you want to not only fulfill, but also to support your family and your loved ones. Learn to become civilized. And I'll have to say this multiple times, make sure you are translating your experiences to the corporate America lingo, right? At the end of the day, you bring to the table a lot of experience, a lot of advanced training, and we have to help you understand how to translate that to your civilian counterparts. So definitely a lot of resources out there available on the web. Some are free, some are paid, but at the end of the day, there are resources to get out there for you to help translate those skills. Learn to adapt to your surroundings. Get connected with others, network, ask the questions. Every question is important, so don't feel that or be timid about a question, ask. Then the most important part here, which I know is towards the bottom, but it is one of the most important, execute that plan. You spent that time preparing, now go after it, right? No hesitation. You understand the mission, accomplish your mission to transition over to the civilian part. Continue the learning cycle. Just like the military, you don't stop learning, right? Take every opportunity that presents itself while you're still in, and even when you transition out. Take that opportunity for yourself so you can continue to improve not only your professional development, but also continue to open up additional doors for more experience, and really don't be afraid to modify yourself to become a better you. And don't forget, work hard, play hard. I mean, dedicate time to learning and doing your job, but don't forget about your family and your loved ones. And lastly, continue to feed the fighting spirit. That's what got you here in the military, right? You went in because you volunteered and you wanted to do something to make a difference. Continue that fighting spirit. Set and achieve challenging goals in the short term and the long term to continue to be successful. So as you continue to prepare to get ready to transition to the civilian world, one of the areas that are highly encouraged is ensure that as you're talking to companies and you're doing your research, that you find out if there's an environment support network to support veterans. Personally, I find this as a critical element to the work experience that you're going to have here in the future. But an employee resource group is an area where once you join a company, you instantly have a network. You have people to count on, just like in the military. People are there to support you and help you along the way. And this is critical. So as you're looking at this, make sure you see this with companies that you're interested in. And for Caterpillar, I'm happy to tell you, Caterpillar has a very strong armed forces support network. Our mission is really very inclusive. It goes beyond our veterans. It goes to their family members, supporters, champions, and those that are very interested in just learning about the community. We encourage participation from all those people in different environments to come into one place and really help support this community. As we continue to move forward, right, Heroes Make America is one of our areas where we're focusing on as well to make sure that our veterans are connecting and providing their experience to you to make it easier to understand what Caterpillar can do for you and to see if you can see yourself as being part of Caterpillar. So in the end, and just like the military, it is your career, right? So it's your opportunity to step in, do your research, and really focus on where you want to be. In this perspective for Caterpillar, what I like to do is just take a moment here to kind of walk you and coach you through how to approach the Caterpillar process and how to be successful throughout this entire deal. What you're looking here is we have a starting point, and the starting point is really our careers page, which you have the web page here, and you have a QR code as well to make it easier for you guys to connect to our database. But this is the area where, as an employee, you will as a potential employee, you will start to explore your options that are available. Next slide, please. Our hiring process it usually takes, when you see a job posting inside our database, the average is roughly about 10 to 14 days. And so what you want to do is when you see a job posting and you start seeing something that comes up new, or if you set yourself up for automatic alerts, you know that you have roughly about 10 working days to get it accomplished if you're interested in applying. My recommendation here is for you to get into the database, set your information, put your resume in, and start highlighting key areas that you want to, you're interested in. If you're interested in logistics, supply chain, manufacturing, right? Start highlighting those so that you can start getting automatic alerts. And then really focus on those areas you want to be. Don't limit yourself to a location, but focus on the opportunity, right? Just like in the military, what we've known is you don't know these new areas could provide your next place and have a great work experience. So I encourage you to explore beyond what you know or back where your area of experiences are, right? Make sure you're looking for the right fit for you and make sure that the job position is exactly what you desire. From the hiring process overall, we do have specific, obviously we review the resumes, you get to a hiring process, and there's usually about a 2 to 4 week window where the recruiter and the actual hiring managers are reviewing your information, and you usually get some feedback roughly around the 4-week mark. So I'd like to take you to the next slide here, which we're going to talk a little bit about. So what are these kind of opportunities that matter for me, and what is interesting for personnel here in Heroes Make America? These are just a sample of our jobs. We have over 100,000 people employed across the world. So we have a variety of jobs that can fit your experience. And it goes from a range from your education range as well, right? We have jobs that go from high school diploma all the way to master's, doctorate degrees, right? So there's a job and a place for all people that have the right skill sets that we're looking for. Now, I said these are just a few examples, but the one area that I want to highlight here is that you're also, if you have something that's very close to what you're doing today, and you feel like there's something that's missing, make sure that it's very highlighted in your resume so that it's very clear your equivalency of what you did, be it military school, regular civilian school, or additional certifications that you might have. Ensure that you highlight that so it is very visible, so it can be seen as equivalent of meeting some of these requirements. Can you go to the next page, please? So overall, your mission today is really join our talent community. Step one is start here. Make sure you follow the QR code or the link that was previously put in this presentation, and come join the talent pool. The second step would be to don't be afraid to reach out. If you have questions, concerns, comments, want to learn more about Caterpillar and what we do, what I recommend is for you to reach out to us at our email. We do have a veteran employee resource group email that's on the next slide here. Yeah, so go ahead and reach out to us at cafsn@cat.com. Overall, team, like I said, thank you for allowing us to take some time of your day to talk about Caterpillar. I hope you see yourself in the near future wearing the nice yellow color that we are very proud of. In fact, we always say we bleed yellow, and there's a reason for that. It's a family, it's a strong team, and it takes a lot of our people to make this work. Our products cannot be what they are without the people that we employ. So hopefully we'll see you in the future, and I'll pass it back to Katie here to see if there's any questions or comments.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was looking through the chat box see if we have any questions in there. Courtney, I saw that you put some great advice in there about working to identify a particular location. Do you mind coming on and just talking through what you had written in the chat box?
Yeah, sure. Now, I had chatted in, it's important to understand that a lot of times when we post a position, we're under limitations of what the system will enable. Therefore, we have to identify a primary location. That doesn't mean that's the only location and where that position might sit. So if there's a position that piques your interest, I would encourage you to click in and read through that entire posting, because you may find that there are multiple locations for which that position can be seated. So just keep that in mind as you're reviewing opportunities.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. Great piece of advice. I always give folks some big things to think about, location or the job. Are we willing to give a little flexibility on the location for the right job, or are we very set on a location that we need to then just look at positions at that one location? So it narrows down your search field. So something to think about, food for thought as you're going. What is your radius that you're willing to commute or relocate to? Let's see if we have any.
To that point, if you do set up searches, you can set up searches within our system to where you'll get an email with regularity that shows you what new postings are, which is great. I would encourage you to keep that search broad and maybe not narrow it to a location for the reasons I just mentioned, because you may miss opportunities that have multiple locations identified.
Awesome. Perfect. Yes. All right, so we will open it up. So if anyone does have any questions, again, put it in the chat box. So go ahead, type it out. I'll read it out loud for our CAT team. Or if you have a question that you want to come on live, there is a raise hand feature under the reactions button on your tabs on the bottom of your screen. So if you go to the reactions, raise hand. So if anyone does want to ask a question, I'll give it a second.
And I'll just do a quick plug in the silence. If you do reach out, you'll get a real person on the other side. I think there's a couple on here that can attest to that. So we are committed to connecting with you. So take advantage of that opportunity if you have interest in learning more or have questions that we can help with.
Perfect. I guess I have a question. Would you be able to speak? I know Caterpillar is everywhere, but would you be able to give some big locations of either some of the manufacturing sites where things are being made or hubs for HQ? Would you be able to speak to some of the big locations that people could be looking at?
Sure. So in the news recently, you may have seen our headquarters was shifted to Dallas, Texas, which is where I sit actually. We have several locations in the state of Texas between Fort Worth, Seguin, Houston. I'm gonna miss a number of those, but we're kind of all over in the Houston area. Peoria is also a major hub for us, so we have several manufacturing sites in the Peoria area, also in Decatur. We have a hub out in Tucson, Arizona. That's actually where we have a proving grounds location, a lot of opportunity out there, especially as you're thinking about engineering and in the mining space. We have a hub in Nashville. And then we have various locations that we call, our focus facilities. So places like Fargo, North Dakota, Franklin, Indiana, Corinth, Mississippi, Wamego, Kansas. That we are all over, but those are just a few to think about.
No, that's great. And I
Hey,
know,
Rochelle, I saw your shout out. Wamego, Kansas is awesome. Thank you.
I know she had recently toured. Rachel, you had toured that facility. So Rachel, did you have something? I saw you unmuted. Maybe not. Okay. Any questions? Come on, there's got to be something out there. These are your industry representatives that are here. This is your opportunity to ask those questions that you may not have the opportunity just to ask in a casual environment like this, where you can have that conversation. So I guess from any of our program managers, any questions that we want to pick the brains? We know what our students typically ask. So any questions from you guys?
I can tell you, I just pulled our postings list this morning, and we have over 1,100 postings worldwide right now. So there's no shortage of opportunity with us today.
Definitely. And Courtney, since you're in Texas, I know the Fort Hood team is joining as a group. They're a class, and they're located in the Fort Hood area. Their school is in Waco, Texas, but they're relocating all over the place. Would you be able to talk a little bit more about positions in Texas? I know there's a lot probably, but if you could.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ernie, I thought I heard you starting to speak up. Did you want to field that, or did you want me to go?
Oh yeah, no, I was just looking at the question. So first of all, I just answered the question directly. Open positions in Texas, absolutely. We have several industries that are represented down there in Texas, from electric power, oil and gas. We got purchasing groups, remanufacturing. So there are many. I mean, that's just a few of the ones that are down there. I mean, we got also solar turbines represented down there. So there is a lot of industries that are represented under Caterpillar inside of Texas. And for those that don't know, Texas actually has become our new headquarter location. So we are now in Dallas, Texas. So this is continuing to grow. The other question I saw there was supervisors or operators. We're looking for all. Just like Courtney said, we got over 11,000 openings right now globally. It's there's no shortages of the people we need. What we're looking for is very high skilled, highly motivated, capable people to help join the Caterpillar family.
I also saw
on specific positions, based on some of the questions that I'm seeing come across. Ernie covered a number of those, but someone mentioned supervisors, operators. Yes, absolutely. We have a number of manufacturing sites where we need leaders at varying levels. We need operators at varying levels. We need welders. We need machinists. We need assemblers. There are several locations throughout Texas. I think someone had asked about San Antonio. We do have a location in San Antonio. Looking to see what some of the other questions were. Waco, we have a distribution site in Waco. I see you got a tour coming there, Fort Hood. That'll be awesome.
And it looks like someone also asked about overseas. Are there international opportunities?
We are all over the world. Yeah. And it varies. We have, sites. If you go to our Caterpillar.com site, you'll see the locations in which we have major sites. That's not fully expansive. There are locations outside of what you'll see there, but not in the high numbers, not major manufacturing sites. What you're going to see on our site is mainly our manufacturing sites.
Perfect. How about
Katie?
Yep, go ahead, Ernie.
Oh, I was going to say there's an interesting question that popped up, and I want to make sure we address it. So there's a question about interviews and advice for successful interviews. So great question. I would tell you, not only for Caterpillar, but basically for any interview that you guys are preparing for, highly recommend you guys look up the STAR method of answering questions in an interview. It basically stands for answering questions so that it states situation, task, action, and results. To make it very clear to you guys what this seems like, it reads just like your fit rep. So if you think about how people are writing your fit rep, that's how you want to answer questions when you're inside of an interview. That would be the most successful and probably the #1 advice I would give people.
I would also give that same piece of advice. Answer the question, but provide an example to back up your answer. But definitely STAR method is a great. How about mobile opportunities? So to my mind, that comes like maintenance or some kind of position, but are there traveling or mobile positions that are available?
Yeah, I mean, I can take that. So our marketing teams are heavy on the travel front, if I'm understanding the question correctly. We have varying different jobs that hit heavy on the travel front. In fact, we had a position just posted recently in our safety services group who focus on bringing safety solutions to our dealers and directly to our customers on their job sites. Those positions are heavy travel, up to 75% or more. And then obviously we have those that are lower travel that may just be, a couple of days out a month. And then there are those that don't travel at all. So yep, it varies.
Hopefully the person asking that question wants to travel.
I'm
That's a good.
assuming.
Yeah. How about engineering? I know some folks may not have an engineering degree, but maybe they have experience in the military that's very related. Are there internship opportunities? Are there ways to get into that field if they don't currently have a degree, or how does that work?
Absolutely. We are definitely open to that exposure to our engineering teams, even without that 4-year engineering technical degree, given the experience that you picked up in your military career. In fact, that's a journey that Ernie and I have been on the front lines of heavily lately, talking to our various different functional groups like engineering to encourage them to understand what it is that you bring to the table with your military background, and to leverage that skill set and not necessarily focus on the name of the college or the name of the degree. So yep, there are opportunities.
I know this question may come up. Are internships paid? That's something that's often
They
asked.
are. We have a hard time not paying people. In fact, with the skill bridge opportunities, that's something that everyone struggles with when we say, hey, the Department of Defense will pay. It's a great thing. And we're like, but we don't know how to not pay people. We like to pay people. So
Good to know. So yes, if you are someone who's interested in that field, internships may not be something you initially search for, but that's one of those areas where you broadening your search and the terminology that you use could open your eyes to other possibilities. How about the logistics supply chain, getting into that side? I know you guys have, probably a ton of positions. Do you all typically call them supply chain analysts, or what is some language they can search for if they're looking at that type of position?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, absolutely, we're a global company. Logistics is critical to our business, supply chain as well, right? We have thousands and thousands of parts moving, not only to build our production, but also to service our customers. We're committed to providing customers parts no matter where they're at in the world. So we got to not only support the supply network coming in, we also got to make sure that it's outbound as well. So yes, it's a huge team that supports us. Even myself, that's what I'm in. I got the North American European procurement manager, right? So I have the facilities that are managing the incoming side of it. So definitely a lot of opportunities that are out there for this space. Where are they located? Yeah, I won't want to say just globally. Yes, we are completely globally. It's this is an area where if there's a facility, we have teams. If there's hubs, we have teams.
Lots of positions. So definitely. Perfect. Because I know we have quite a few logisticians that come through our classes, but yeah, using those other words like procurement, right? So searching
Yep.
for all different terms that are related to the industry, that segment, are important when you're looking for jobs.
Absolutely.
Another,
And just to be, oh, sorry, Katie,
go
actually,
ahead.
just to be very clear, I would look for anything that says, at least for Caterpillar perspective, if you guys want to take notes, look for anything that talks about supply anything. So supply network engineer, supply, professional engineer. You got your supplier development engineer. Like all of those are part of the supply chain logistics purchasing group. Obviously, logistics is going to have more direct titles. So you'll see those as transportation aspect. But if it's supply chain, look for material planners, look for logistician, look for, those are the keywords. I mean, our systems, we're actually we're going to be changing some of our titles, right? So you're going to see some of that being cleaned up within the next year or so that it'd be easier to translate. But you're starting to see some of those when you start going into the portal here for the job opportunities. There'll be selections that you can just select procurement as an example, and it'll pop up all these different terminologies for you.
I greatly appreciate that because I often work with the service members when they're job searching, and a lot of times that is one of those hurdles that we don't think about, but they don't necessarily think about what words to search for. And so it's very normal, but it's great that you talk about that so they have that heads up on what to search for. I did see another question regarding shifts. So times of shifts, I saw Courtney, you threw in there. Do you want to speak a little bit more to that? I know it varies, but what does a 7-3, 3-11, 11-7 and alternate work schedule kind of mean? To explain that.
I don't know how many of you have that song now in your head, but I do. Anyway, no, that's our traditional schedule. It depends on our production levels, whether or not we even run 3 shifts. There are some locations that run 1 shift, there's some that run 2, and some that run all 3, with varying levels of support on those 3 shifts. In addition, we run alternate work schedules. And especially if you're thinking about our distribution warehouses where we never stop, like our customers need parts when they need parts, and we've got to keep that action moving. So we will oftentimes run an alternate work schedule where our employees will work like a 36-hour work week, be paid for 40, but cover our weekends. And then I think I had made another comment on that. Oh yeah, 4 10-hour days. So that's another thing that we've started to flex more of. People like the long weekends, and are happy to sign up for longer days for 3 or 4 days a week. So you see a little bit of everything depending on where you go.
This may be an assumption of mine, but for the folks who are not at the manufacturing locations, are there 8 to 5s? Like, do you all work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday? Are there those type of positions also that they could be looking at?
Absolutely, and then some. I think I could speak for myself that sometimes it just doesn't stop. You have to put up the guardrails, but yeah, the positions that are more supporting the operation, not directly but indirectly, in the office type roles, those are a little bit more flexible in terms of start and stop times. It's more about, like, you signed up to get this work done, you got to get it done however you do that.
Perfect. Thanks. So yeah, lots of options. Remember, massive company, lots of locations, lots of shifts, lots of different days of the week. There's lots and lots of options. Let's see, Estrella, I know you had a question you wanted to come on and ask.
Hi, yeah, I have a question about, I'm at the website looking on available positions for IT and cybersecurity. And I guess my main question is, a lot of the internships or apprenticeships, they require you to be a full-time student. What if you're not a full-time student? For example, I'm separated from the military, but I still don't have that entry-level experience that they require.
Yeah, that's a great question, Estrella. And if you'd like to move to Dallas, we've probably got an opportunity for you. We have a lot in the cybersecurity space, but So a lot of our internships, we have partnerships with schools. I would encourage you to maybe not allow, like, don't let that stop you from applying. If you apply to something and you want to connect in, feel free to reach out to me and I can help raise up your information to the right people. I would say, like, expand your search beyond the internships though, because there's going to be a ton of them, especially in that field. We have a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
And I'm sorry.
No, I was going to add one more thing, and just an encouragement, not only just for the apprentices portion, just because it says school, again, do not hold yourself back from applying. We can help you network that. And technically it's the system that's set up, right? So we can manage that. But at the other part of this is, there's the second question I hear that comes from that is, well, what about if, I feel like I don't have the basic requirements? Well, there's two things that you can do before you get out. The first one is, if you know you lack a certain requirement, start prepping and getting those specific positions to make yourself that much more attractive by filling the basic requirements. But it also make sure that, for those that are asking a question about just a regular job, is make sure that if you think you're missing something, but you have something that's equivalent to it, don't hesitate to apply, because I can tell you a lot of our training, in fact, a lot of our training in the military, no matter what your job is, translates to something in Caterpillar. So I want to make sure that that's very clear. Encourage you guys, do not hold yourself back because you think you don't need it. There is something in your resume or something you've done in school for the military that translates over.
I totally agree with that. And it is really, truly who you're up against as well. So yeah, like, don't let that hold you back.
So to add on to that, or not to add on, but to continue my question. So for example, I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm relocating to Norfolk, Virginia. I didn't see any open positions for Caterpillar anywhere near Virginia Beach and Norfolk. So do you have a brother or sister company or somebody that you network with in the area?
Yes, so we have Caterpillar in Norfolk. It's our marine division. So there is a business unit there. That is something, if you want to work in the marine space, absolutely can be one of the areas we connect you. There's also obviously field reps and other jobs that cover that area as well. That could be a potential for that location as well.
And that brings to mind another point that's important to keep in mind. As you're searching for opportunities, if you don't see something today, check back in a few days. Our postings are up on average 7 to 10 days at a time. So if you don't see something this week, you'll see something next week. So just kind of make it a regular part of your weekly to-dos to check in, because you may miss something if you check today and not again for another month.
I think that's a great thing that you just mentioned, the 7 to 10 days. Because a lot of times we see a posting and we're like, we'll get to it tomorrow. Know that it's up there 7 to 10 days. So make sure that you don't miss out on opportunity and apply. I'll also put another plug, Courtney, right, for the talent community and putting your email address on the website to get alerts, because things are moving so quickly. Putting your resume on that talent community, so then you can be getting offers or emails letting you know about positions, or having those alerts from the site. So important. All right. I would love to get to the last two questions, but we have 1 minute left. Any final thoughts from Courtney or Ernie about Caterpillar? Any final remarks before we close it out?
I'll jump in real quick. I just want to say a career at Caterpillar can be a huge opportunity for you. You can start anywhere and go anywhere, and really is up to you how much you want to leverage that. I've changed careers several times in my 17 years. I think that these stories exist all over our company. So the world's your oyster.
Absolutely. And I agree with Courtney 100%. This is a company you can get experience across the board. If you're interested in one thing and next year you want to try something different, there's opportunity for that. And I'll put myself out there, and I told you my background, my personal story. Within 7 years, I've done 6 different work streams, right? From operations, strategy, business planning, M&As, it's just, purchasing, right? There's a breadth of experience you guys can do here, just like the military. So definitely highly encourage you guys to do your homework. Please make sure you're doing the preparation ahead of time, right? Not to support your transition. This is a critical time, and I'm actually very excited that you guys are taking the initiative to be part of this Heroes Make America, because it's a good starting point. Keep up the preparation. It'll pay off. And looking forward to seeing you guys wearing yellow in the future. So definitely thank you for the time today.
Awesome. Thank you, CAT team. I know there were some questions in the chat box we weren't able to get to, but remember, networking is key, right? We dropped in Courtney and Ernie's LinkedIn URLs. Connect with them, continue the conversation, ask those questions. That's what they're here for. So thank you to our CAT team for all the great information today. Thank you for everyone joining us. A few next steps as we close out the event today. One, explore that Caterpillar career page. Get on there, maybe search by position, not location, search by location, not position, right? Do multiple types of searches. Join the Caterpillar's talent community. Follow them on LinkedIn. While you're at it, follow Heroes Make America on LinkedIn if you aren't already following us. Connect with our teams, whether it's Heroes, Manufacturing Institute, Caterpillar. We're all here to help you and help you with that transition into the civilian sector. Please share and invite others to join our future events. So in 2 weeks, we're going to have our next Heroes Connect event. We actually have the Semi Foundation with TEL, Odyssey, Polar, and XFAB. So 4 companies from the Semi Foundation in the semi industry. Semiconductors are those little chips in your all electronics. So join us to learn about an electronic company in 2 weeks. But thank you all for joining us. You all have a great day. That's a wrap. We'll see you next time.